This is Artful Discourse, your weekly escape into the vibrant world of creativity, culture, and intellectual exploration. I'm your host, Benjamin Kirk, and I invite you to join me on a journey through the rich tapestry of human thought and the beating heart of artistic expression at Fresno State's College of Arts and Humanities. Winged mythical creatures have landed at Fresno State and are silently perched along Maple Mall in the central area of campus. They are part of a public exhibit called Wings of the City by Mexican sculptor Jorge Marin. In 2010, Wings of the City was originally exhibited in Marin's home country of Mexico, and since then has traveled around the world to the cities in the Middle East, Europe, Asia, Africa, North America, and now Fresno. Now, last week, there was a special event to introduce the artwork, and I'd like to start off by playing a clip of Fresno State President Dr. Saul Jimenez Sandoval introducing the exhibit.
I'm going to give you just a brief synopsis of Jorge Marin. He's originally from Michoacan, which I think the greater valley will resonate very strongly because many people in the valley hark back to Michoacan. He is 7 years old, and then he moves to Mexico City at the age of 7. And he's just stunned by Mexico City, by the size of it, and by how Mexico City is melting both the modern and the ancient, the colonial and the very futuristic parts of it. In Marin's art, he mirrors our condition as humans, and our loftiest aspirations come out in his bronzes. In his work, we can see the cities of Mexico. We can see Mexico City. We can see downtown Mexico City, where the Basilica is, and where the Templo Mayor are, and the Calle Donceles that's right there with all the bookstores that the Arte America has recently highlighted. Though we can also see the other Mexican cities in his work. We can see Zacatecas, where I come from. We can see Uruapan, where he grew up, or Guadalajara, or Mérida, or Oaxaca. The list goes on and on. These are cities that are older in Mexico. You will not see the modern cities here. Because what he does, though, is he displays this magnificence and a bigger than art type of feeling. This artwork is bigger than me. I feel, a much greater connection to sort of like the heavens when you see this. And that's the Baroque, like specifically. The Baroque tries to lift you up in such a way that it transcends you from this world to another place that allows you to think, to be introspective, and then to think about what it means to be human. And yet at the same time, he infuses feeling and emotion. And at the end of the day, it's our shared humanity that comes forth in a very powerful way. And these sculptures, they move us beyond the moment, beyond the present, to connect with each other with a greater sense of who we are as a human family. If you notice, when you look at these, we are all these individuals. Many of them are masked. And that's for a reason. We don't want to see this part so that we identify directly whether we come from, one part of the world or the other. So this is really where Wings of the City comes in. It is an exhibition that has adorned cities around the world, literally around the world. It's Tel Aviv, it's Berlin, it's Singapore, it's Los Angeles, it's Quebec, it's Dubai, it's Mexico City. And now it's Fresno, specifically Fresno State. And this marks the first time that Jorge Marin's work is being exhibited at a university or at an educational establishment. I'll provide just a really brief analysis as well as to why the artist states that he intentionally chooses bronze as his preferred metal for sculpting. Why is that? There's a Mexican philosopher, Vasconcelos, who writes in 1925 a book called La Raza Cósmica, The Cosmic Race. And in it, he writes that Mexicans are made of bronze. He chooses bronze specifically because bronze is an amalgam of different ethnicities and histories and mindsets and perspectives that then produce the Mexican to move forward with this incredible collection of the entire world into this concept. And you can see this in this exhibition, how Marin connects the moment to all of humanity's history by transforming us to a higher concept of human thought and our quest, our never-ending quest, right, for a greater understanding of who we are as humans and how we connect with each other, even though we all come from different parts of the world or have different concepts in our mind. I'm going to end by saying that this exhibition will be here for a year and we'll be able to collaborate with K 12, with our community college partners, with our arts in the region. That's why Dr. Gonzalez is here as well, and to the greater community on lessons regarding Mexican art. What does Mexican art look like today in today's world? And what does that mean? Or what's the process of creating a bronze? How do I create that? How does that come to be, with us nowadays? I want to know that. And overall, the meaning of art in our society today. What we have with us is truly a spectacular manifestation of modern Mexican art, one that is deeply rooted in history, with a spirited energy towards the future, providing hope for humanity at the core of our endeavors.
And again, that was Fresno State President Dr. Saul Jimenez Sandoval, and he was kicking off a special event, basically a press conference last week. Another person who was also speaking at that press conference we have in our studio today, we have Chris Lopez. He is the director of the Center for Creativity in the Arts, or CCA, housed at the College of Arts and Humanities. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
All right, so let's start off with what CCA is and its involvement in bringing the sculptures to Fresno State.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, CCA wants, or the goal is to bring our campus community together to enrich our students, our faculty, our staff, but also to engage our public community. So we're not just reaching out to our own community within our university, but also reaching out to other groups that are interested in what we are doing here. So we are creating programs and art exhibitions. We are doing all this through art to bring people together, and so appropriately so, this exhibit by Jorge Marin works right in. It works
Mm-hmm.
perfectly into our goal, our ideologies in CCA.
How would you describe the Wings of the City exhibit? How would you describe it, and why is it important?
Yeah, well, first off, our president, Jimenez Sandoval, so beautifully articulated his ideas and thoughts and interpretation of the work, and I thought it was just so beautiful. And he's right. There's a certain power, a heavenly power in these Baroque style works of art that are displayed on our maple lawn. And it works so well with the backdrop of our landscape. And then to have our students walk through and to interact with the work. And that's one of the things that really I noticed right away.
Mm-hmm.
The meaning really started to come through. Um, and of course, there are many messages that come through with this work, but one of the things was the communal aspect, seeing students wanting to engage in conversation. They're seeing the work, they're stopping for that moment, taking the time out of their busy schedules to stop for a second and go, wait, these are new. What are these about? Who put these here? And that was really interesting to see also students on their phones talking with their friends or whoever and stopping for a second and saying, oh wait, there are these sculptures here. Let me show you, taking pictures and sending them to their whoever they're speaking to on their phones. And that was really a powerful moment for me. It really made me think, oh, this is what these sculptures are about. They relate to people. People who see these sculptures and are interacting with them for the first time. It's sparking a conversation. It's sparking intellectual discourse. And I know for our art students, it's doing the same for them too.
And it's right in the middle of campus.
Mhm.
The Maple Mall extends up Maple Avenue where the dead end is,
Right.
and then it goes up. And then on the other side of it is the Satellite Student Union and the Armenian Genocide Monument. It's kind of sandwiched right in between there, and it's really a place where, as students are coming onto campus, or as anybody's coming onto campus, they're for the most part walking right by these. And I found it interesting at first because these are very large.
Yeah.
I, the figures themselves are about life size, I guess.
About, yeah.
Yeah, but they're up on pedestals,
Mhm.
and they look like something that's always been there. And
Right.
I've been kind of observing over the last because they were installed few weeks ago. And just over those last few weeks, watching students walk by, and at first maybe not noticing them as much, and then slowly you're seeing, and now every time I walk out there, there's at least a couple people, maybe three or four little groups of people
Mhm.
stopping and looking and taking pictures,
Um,
and they're just amazing works.
They really are. It's one of the things I tell my students. Nothing replaces seeing the work in person, any artwork. I don't care if it's a painting, sculpture, especially installation work. And this is like it's a sculpture series, but it's also an installation because it's really the work is informing the space and so forth. So seeing the work in person for me was really eye opening. It I intellectually knew that this was going to be a great exhibition on our campus, but when it was here, it was yeah, it really was an unveiling for me. It really truly showed the power of the work seeing it in person, seeing the details of the sculpture. As you said, they're life size, but they look larger than life size because they're on these pedestals, and the wings themselves also make these beings look larger than life
Yeah.
in a sense, even like sort of emotionally, even spiritually, if you want to say, mythologically. They do that, and it's just quite beautiful how they are crafted by the artists. All aspects of it, even the composition, the formations of each individual form, how they're in different poses, and then as President Jimenez Sandoval mentioned, the anonymity, the mask, and how
Mhm.
it then places us into that, like that. This could be us. You have a sense of self in these works that we can relate to.
Now he brought up another term, and I just want to bring it up because I'm not sure everybody would be familiar with it. But Baroque.
Mhm.
Can you maybe go into a little bit about what Baroque means in this
Um,
context?
sure. I mean, right away, I think of Fragonard and several other artists who work in a way that is complex. There's really elements of like we think of these very heavenly background
Mhm.
landscapes and angels, and it's just whimsical. And people say it's kind of like sort of disorganized, but it's not. It's a controlled disorganization, and it just this beautiful arrangement of variety. And I feel that this certainly falls into that element because of the way these angel-like creatures are. They could be right, they fit right into a Baroque style painting or a romantic painting. It falls into that guise, but to see them crop, there's each one spaced out, I don't know how, probably 30, 40 feet, and to see them in that space with the backdrop of our landscape on a
Mhm.
campus, it really adds that element of Baroque. The trees, the lush trees that are just, so wonderfully blend in with the foreground of the sculptures.
Now, as executive director of the Center for Creativity in the Arts, what kind of programming are you planning? Because I understand you do have some, or you are working on some programming for this. So, can you talk a little bit about? I know some of this is in the works.
Yes, it's in the works. We have some high schools that are interested. I know Sunnyside High School is interested, and so we are looking to invite not just K through 12, but also any other interested groups as well. And we would like to plan, a few hours. It's not like come in and see the work. We'll talk about it a little bit and then go. No, we want them to come in to like a lecture hall, lecture space where we can talk and discuss the ideas, the concept of sculpture, get into the process of lost wax casting, which is the process of making metal sculptures, and then segue into the work itself, the Wings of the City work, and to show the 2D projections of the work. Then to take these students out into the lawn and see the work in person,
Mhm.
have them engage with an activity, a fun activity, also an educational activity, and then to bring them back and to hear the responses. I think that's going to be really interesting for me and hopefully for them. I hope I I I can. I think this is going to be a really great experience, not for our visitors, but for myself. And we have a couple student docents in our Department of Art, Design, Art History who will be assisting in this, and I'm looking forward to that, to sort of training them to be docents and to be guides and to go through this process of talking about work to large groups of students and to engage with them and to see what kind of ideas we're going to brainstorm ideas and see what we can do to create activities, interesting activities for these tours.
Now, Jorge Marin being a Mexican artist, and then our student population, which is largely Hispanic, and
Right.
our community, which has a huge percentage
Oh
of
yeah.
Hispanic. How do you see that as engaging the community, engaging across cultural boundaries? How do you see this exhibit as pushing that
It's
forward?
interesting as as mentioned before, how there is this connection to all walks of life with this work. Sure, Jorge Marin is from Mexico City, and sure, we do have a large Hispanic Mexican population here on campus and through Fresno. But yes, it does engage those groups, but it really seems to attract all groups. I think all groups who feel that they can connect in some way, some place. But we do have some interest. I know the Fresno Mexican Consulate has been involved, and
Mhm.
that's been a great relationship that we've established. And I'm actually looking forward to reaching out to other organizations, especially Arte Americas, which is one of our local arts organizers out here. They have a great facility, and I'm looking forward to maybe even reaching out to other uh, Mexican, Latino, Latinx communities to bring to campus, and certainly to strengthen those relationships. I think will be very important.
And speaking of Arte Americas, well, maybe not exactly because she's not uh, the director of Artes Americas anymore, but Dr. Lilia Gonzalez Chavez
Hmm.
spoke at the press conference event as
Right,
well. And
right.
she's actually executive director of the Fresno Arts
Arts
Council
Council.
now.
Right, right.
And I did want to play a little clip because I
Oh
really
yes.
enjoyed her interpretation of the
Oh,
work.
me too. Yeah, this I saw this and this was great to see live. She did a spectacular job talking about her response to the work. Yeah.
It's such a pleasure for me to be with you today, beginning with the trials of Icarus or the triumphs of the Wright brothers. Humans' fascination with flight has been turbulent and elevating. Today, the university allows us to further explore this fascination with an exhibition that has received international acclaim, Wings of the City. When seen for the first time, it was described as a representation of our dreams of flying free from the shackles of the laws of physics, an invitation for people to surpass their limits. A truly fitting sentiment for this inspirational gift to the Central Valley from California State University, Fresno. This exhibition demonstrates the university's thoughtful execution of its commitment to share art with the community. As an institution of higher learning, Fresno State daily gives wings to the mind and flight to the imagination, allowing students to gain new knowledge and celebrate achievements that allow each and everyone who dares to fully embrace the opportunity to unfold their own wings and ascend to new heights. As a representative of the community, I see this exhibition as an invitation to all to visit the campus and step into a space that allows you to ponder and examine the artistry of these works. And as you do, imagine your own capacity to look beyond what you know and explore untold possibilities. It is my hope that people will see these works as beautiful representations of the human spirit and its desire to examine unknown realities. I applaud the university, particularly President Saul Jimenez Sandoval and the Department of Arts and Humanities for taking on what was surely a monumental lift to install this exhibition so that we all might share and a truly inspiring experience. Thank you.
All right, and that was Dr. Lilia Chavez, and she actually received an honorary doctorate from Fresno State last year, so it's fun to call her doctor.
Yes, yeah, she's
Um,
incredible.
Now, when I spoke to, or at least messaged, we had messages back and forth between uh, Jorge Marin and myself. Basically, when I was putting together the press release for this event, and I had asked him kind of what the sculptures meant, and he had really kind of done what many artists do and say it's really not about what I think it is; it's what it means to other people. And I really appreciated Dr. Gonzalez Chavez's answer to that, in that what she sees in it is the human spirit itself. And when you look at each of these sculptures, and hold on, I have actually the list of sculptures right here. When you look through these, a lot of them really kind of demonstrate different aspects of the human spirit, and the the want to expand, the want to kind of take off, the leave the ground and go further than our abilities.
Yes, and how Lilia Chavez really executed that in her speech, like just to identify that the possibilities and what is to be. Why are these sculptures about to take off? Where are they about to go? And as human beings, when we are inspired, when we are like when we are have the desire to do whatever it is we want to do to be productive or to
Mhm.
be creative, to do it, and it's like that moment of flight, and then and that's that element of inspiration that she communicated was really powerful in these sculptures. Going back to Jorge Marin, you know, redirecting that question to you, or redirecting the question to the audience, not answering it, which is common. I know a lot of musicians do that
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes it's like, well, I know what it means to me, but I really want to know what it means to you.
What
And
your thought
it's, yeah,
process
what were
was.
you? Yeah, I know he's mentioned it in the past, but I know sometimes in a just one-on-one conversation, you want that conversation to have. You want to hear their perspective, and sometimes you don't get
Yeah.
it.
No. And I was actually interested in what he was thinking about while he was doing it, and then now that they've traveled the world,
How they
if the
change.
meaning had changed
Oh,
for
yeah.
him and everything. And again, he just said, the meaning is what you make of it. Although he did kind of talk about bridging cultures
Yeah,
with these
right,
sculptures.
right. And with that in mind, I mean, think about when I saw these sculptures set up in I think it's the Anaheim Convention Center, and then seeing it here on campus, the backdrops are different.
Mm,
There we have this in Anaheim. It was the backdrop of the structure of the convention center, and it had there's some plants and stuff, but here it's a lot of foliage. It's just a very different display, and the meaning would certainly change. I think that's where the baroqueness comes out. Just over elegant display of both sculpture and landscape coming together, and it really creates that effect.
Now I'm looking at the list of sculptures. Now, just to be clear, there are 5 sculptures. They are here, by the way, for the next year,
Yeah,
or
through August
through August
2025.
2025. Yeah, and so all but one have wings. The one that doesn't have wings is a sculpture of a human character with a mask doing acrobatics on a ball,
Right.
and a little bit off balance, just a little bit. So he's very much in motion,
Hmm.
is what it seems.
Right, and they also maybe there's some sort of captured in motion. That one in particular, e- I'm going to butcher the title on this. Equilibrista 90 Monumental. I'm sure I butchered that. But that's really a beautiful uh, moment that's captured. It's the acrobatic maneuver of this person who is both hands are on the ball, but his torso is bent and legs are up, and he's balancing on that ball. And it just you think about the sheer power and control and strength it takes to do that, and it's caught in that moment. No, doesn't have the wings as you
Hmm.
stated, and you wonder like why are there no wings on this particular being, but then it's that idea of it being, I mean, he's still almost like in this balance of, flight almost. Like he's in
Right.
the air still.
Do you have a favorite?
S- uh, there are several, a couple that I really like. The ones at the end, I love Abrazo Monumental and uh, Angel Preselidas. I think I pronounced that correctly, or it's Angel Preselidas. Are beautiful. They're real. Those are both on the ends, and I think those really, are really good. What do you say? They are bookends, I guess you
Yeah.
can say, of the exhibition, and I think those are really just powerful pieces. But the one that I can't help but not to keep staring at is El Tiempo, and that's the armless
Mm-hmm.
figure with the wings that are just spread out, and he's squatting down, looking out, but you could see through the eyes, or the eyes are holes that you can see through, and the head's cut off, and you could see not cut off, but it's hollow. You can
Hello.
see
Yeah.
through the eyes, and it just powerful. I don't know, something about it's the only one that's sort of rusted. I don't know if a patina or something was added to the bronze. Bronze doesn't typically oxidize that quickly. It takes many decades, I think, or centuries for it holds its color for a very long time. So it's one of the very interesting, very weathered, and just I love the texture. It looks like this particular winged figure has been in battle.
Mm-hmm.
It's been through some sort of hardship. Um, there's some emotional element there that I feel it's complex, and I want to know more, like what happened to this person. Um, and I wouldn't say the person's like somber, but it's just something that where it has this sense of experience that's been seasoned. It's been through so many things. Um, but yeah, it still appears to be content.
That's interesting. I also, the eyes is what really gets me, and it seems to be in a way dissolving. Its arms are missing. Part of its head is missing. But his wings are
Right.
still
Yeah.
unfurled, fully unfurled, and to me, it almost seemed like that kind of despair, but
Sure.
with a little bit of hope left.
Right. Yeah. The wings are still there. It's there. It's like I still have, the wings that will take me places. I
But
still have a future. I still have inspiration,
yeah.
aspiration. I still can, am able to, despite this.
And I guess that's what's fun about it is we both have
Yeah.
slightly different
Yeah.
interpretations of what we saw, but
Right.
both of our your interpretation makes perfect sense to me at the same time. So.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so you can find more information about the Wings of the City at Fresno State by visiting cah.fresnostate.edu/CCA. That's cah.fresnostate.edu/CCA, or you could probably just Google
Yeah. Do
CCA.
a simple Google search, put Fresno State CCA, and the first search option that comes up, it'll be right there. And you just click on that.
And
Yeah.
from there, you will find descriptions of the exhibit along with descriptions of each of the 5 statues. Of course, these sculptures are out in the open, and you can visit them on campus along the Maple Mall at any time
Yes.
you're on campus.
Yeah, there is a fee for parking. It's $5 Monday to Friday, or when campus is open. During holidays and weekends, it is free. After 4 p.m. on Fridays, it's free from Friday after 4 p.m. and through Sunday, through the weekend. So anyone can come by. It's just park really close. The lot's usually empty on the weekends, and that's the best time to come out.
My kids saw them when we went out to a football game because we had
Yep.
to park over across campus, and we
Perfect.
walked across, and we were able to kind of spend a moment and take a look at them. Yeah, it's very, very centrally located and easy to find. All right, Chris, is there anything I missed? Anything you'd like to add?
One last thing, anyone can reach out to me directly at Chris_Lopez at csufresno.edu, CHRIS_LOPEZ at csufresno.edu.
All right. And if you're listening to this on a podcast, we will be sure to put that in the show notes. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Artful Discourse is a production of the College of Arts and Humanities at California State University, Fresno. The Dean is Dr. Honora Chapman, and the Associate Dean is Dr. Sergio Laporta. This program is written, directed, and produced by me, Benjamin Kirk. the college's communication specialist. The theme song for Artful Discourse is Maiden Voyage by Fresno State music professor Benjamin Boone from his album Joy. More information about his music can be found at benjaminboone.com. Special thanks to KFSR and FSR Underground General Manager Julie Lindahl for making this show possible. You can learn more about the College of Arts and Humanities and find an archive of our shows at our website, cah.fresnostate.edu, or on our blog, fresnostatecah.com.